We see that a cross-section is just the intersection of a three-dimensional figure and a plane. So you can almost think of a cross-section as when you're slicing through a three-dimensional figure. In example 3, we see our horizontal cross-section cuts through just the very top of this cone right here. So in that case, the intersection of that cross section, or I'm sorry, of the plane and that cone would just be a point, that very tip of the cone. If we had intersected this cone any lower on that on the cone, then the cross section would be the same shape as the base. It would be circular. It wouldn't be the same size circle. It wouldn't be a congruent circle, but only at the very top where we have this plane would we have a point as our cross section. Example 4, it's a little easier to see the shapes of these cross sections. Our first one right here, again, we're cutting through that pentagonal pyramid with a horizontal plane. And we can see that that cross section, the shape that's obtained, would also be a pentagon, smaller than the pentagonal base that we have, but also a pentagon. On our next example, we have a vertical cross section slicing down through this hexagon. So our cross section in this case, because it's a prism, our hexagon is going to be the same shape as the base. It's going to be a hexagonal cross section. In this case, it will be congruent to the two bases of this prism. Unlike the previous cross section, because we're getting smaller as we went up the pyramid, it would be the same. It would be a similar figure. It wouldn't be congruent though. With our third example here, we have a cone, and we're slicing down vertically right through that top vertex. So we can see that the cross section in this case would be a triangle. Our last example here, example 5, says that we have a piece of cheese in the shape of a prism with equilateral triangular bases. I pasted a picture here of a wedge of cheese. How can you slice the cheese to make each shape? Well, if we wanted an equilateral triangle, that's the same as the shape of the base. So what we could do there is if we could slice through this horizontally, our wedge or our slice would be the same shape as that equilateral triangle. If we wanted a rectangular wedge or slice of cheese, then we're going to cut down vertically along one of these edges here, and then our slice of cheese would be rectangular in shape, appropriate for a cracker or something like that.